So I'm thinking as I begin this, I'm like, damn, can we capture my good side? And there is none. And there's not a good side at all. Wow, I look different has got to be something that maybe one person's at least thinking out there. Joe, have you let yourself go? Joe, you've fallen off. My God, what's going on? So, real quick, let me address that. I was thinking about growing a mullet. There's that. It's like No Shave November or something along those lines. I was thinking about letting myself go completely until the flip house gets done. Flip number 3, if you guys want to keep up with that. Joe does stuff. I am posting a lot of videos over on that channel. You can go find out all about. Yeah, so the game plan, I guess, was forget a haircut, barely shave, and get a Jenny Jones makeover when you get done with the house, which won't be too much longer. But enough about that. Joe, where the hell have you been? What happened to After Prison Show? Did you quit? A lot of good questions right there. Also, there's been some speculation. Oh, the channel, this happened or that happened. But nothing happened. In fact, if anything did happen, it was just the flip house, and that's not even really that great of an excuse. However, I had to try to focus on I got to focus on that. However, when it comes to After Prison Show, this hiatus, this me working on the house and not doing videos for After Prison Show isn't exactly what I've wanted to do. Of course, I love doing videos for After Prison Show, but this hiatus has given me the opportunity to reflect, to think about things, to kind of hit the reset button to a certain degree and think about what am I doing with After Prison Show. 6 years, folks. October, it's getting ready to be October. October 13th, 2015, 6 years ago, I got released from prison. November 2015. The first video that I ever made for After Prison Show, or maybe it's December by this point. I think the November video got deleted for some reason. It's been a long time. It's been a long ride. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a lot of ups and downs and drama and good times and bad. But 6 years later, what am I doing? Well, I don't exactly have that answer. I can answer this question for you. Have I quit? Am I quitting After Prison Show? And the short of it is, no, I don't want to. I don't care if the channel gets any or many views. After Prison Show is always going to be my greatest thing, like the greatest thing that I've ever done with my life. And because of that, I always want to be able to add to that. And not all the time will I be able to do that. Will I be able to have content for After Prison Show all of the time? Well, right this second, no. In the future, after I get done with this flip, I will be getting back to doing videos more frequently. Anyways, with those things being mentioned, I'm back here today, and I'm hoping what I'm getting ready to share with you guys is something that you find interesting, maybe insightful, and maybe kind of, stirs the hornet's nest a little bit, kicks the hornet's nest, stirs the pot a little bit. It should. Because I think that it's damn interesting, and it's damn sure happening right now. And what I'm talking about, folks, is politics. Joe, what the fuck happened? Politics? We don't ever do politics here on After Prison Show. I'm going to try to not to. I almost wanted to share with you guys my political views, but my political views are my political views, just as yours are. I think politics gets so evil and, boy, just so messed up and so bad a lot of the times. And just because I feel one way and you feel another way, or you feel one way and I whatever, doesn't mean that we can't agree to disagree. Something like that, right? But anyway, let's talk about politics for a very important reason here on After Prison Show. And, boy, about dropped that phone, though. I ain't got no glass case on the phone, no glass on the screen. I probably should have had that. I've got scratches on this. There's probably a lot of different states we could talk about the political state of with. Don't confuse yourself, Joe. But we're going to talk today about my state, good old Virginia. And we've got a governor's race that is heating up right now. Now, first of all, let me share this. Virginia is currently a Democratic state. We've got a Democratic governor, Ralph Northam, who a lot of people like and a lot of people don't like. There's been controversy with this governor. There's controversy with everybody and everything. You can find controversy in anything, and other times you can make it up. Yeah. Yeah, I should know. Shit gets made up about me all of the time. It does. I don't even know why. Even when I'm not doing. No matter what political stance you side with, Ralph Northam, I feel like he's been a relatively good shit. What am I saying? He's been a great governor. I don't have no issue with him. Yeah, there's been controversy with him. There's been some controversy for sure. But this guy has done a hell of a lot in terms of criminal justice reform. More importantly, I mean, this guy granted me my rights back. It's Governor Ralph Northam who gave me all of my rights back, minus the right to own and possess a firearm, which I can easily probably get unless things change, which they could very well be changing right this moment. But I've gotten my rights back because of Governor Ralph Northam. He has made major changes with the help of rapper Meek Mill, or Meek Mill was there when he signed this bill, Governor Ralph Northam did, changing the whole probation violation statute, saying that if you violate your first time, you can only get like 15 or 30 days, and if you violate your second time, like they put a cap on the amount of time that a violation carries. He's done a lot of things. However, if you are someone who is incarcerated right this second, or you got a loved one who's incarcerated, hoping maybe there's a chance that, that person can make parole, oh, you should definitely be paying attention to what's taking place in the good old state of Virginia right now, especially absolutely with this governor's race. Right now, Governor Ralph Northam, I think he's already done his 2 terms. He cannot be governor again, or however that works. I don't know necessarily how it works, but he's not up for the governor's seat. There's a Democrat by the name of Terry McAuliffe, who I believe was governor before, and there's a lot of people who don't like this guy, and I don't know why they don't like him. I don't know shit about the dude. Like I said, I really don't do the politics too tough. And his Republican competitor for this same governor's seat, Glenn Youngkin, right? And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because we're going to get deep in this, and we're going to do this very quickly. Terry McAuliffe was, leading this race to be governor over this Republican Glenn Youngkin. It seemed like Terry McAuliffe was going to pull away and just win this thing by a landslide, until it seems to me like Glenn Youngkin has refocused his campaign to focus primarily, or a big part of his campaign, focusing primarily on the Virginia Parole Board and thing. And man, when I tell you that this can of worms is so deep, I wish I could go just completely off the rails with this, because I could. I'm going to say this. The Virginia parole, and it's probably this way in every state as well, is a very controversial situation. There's people who we featured here on After Prison Show who have made parole. And, I feel like the people who have made parole, who we've featured especially, deserve that second chance at life. Even with the fact that they've got some pretty, very serious charges that they serve time for. But with the Virginia parole especially, there's been a lot of controversy. And I think it was something like 7 cases in particular that really posed the question, should this person have been able to make parole? Their charges are pretty fucking serious, and yet they made parole anyways. Now, like I said, a lot of controversy surrounds the Virginia Parole Board. Probably does in every case and state as well, or every state. Probably primarily more so the fact that people aren't making parole, who should make parole. But I really want you to key in on the fact that there's this controversy that surrounds 7 cases in particular of very controversial people and people with specific cases that made parole, right? So getting back to this gubernatorial race, if that's how you say that, Glenn Youngkin has began to focus on the Virginia Parole Board and the fact that, they're letting violent offenders back out onto the street. And one particular case that they use is a former Richmond police officer woman who was shot in the line of duty, shot in the neck, I believe. And she survived this shooting. Her assailant would end up getting locked up, and I guess every year goes up for parole. Now, this guy has not made parole, but, you know, the way that this ad is targeted, you know, this woman has to reopen this wound every couple of years or every year or whatever the case may be, hoping and praying that this man is not going to be released. But they go even deeper than that and say that, you know, so many violent offenders have already been released without even notifying the victims, so they say. I don't know if that's true or not. And I know of one particular story of a person who made parole that is definitely controversial. I mean, like one of the, like I couldn't even, now I don't know this person personally, never met this person. And I'm not going to share anything. They got a very, I'm not going to like put this person out there because I don't even know their name off the top of my head. I wanted to get this person on After Prison Show. I was, you know, I don't think that would have happened, I guess is the best way to put that. But this person had a super controversial case. And in fact, they killed a cop. I'm just going to leave it with that. And, you know, they would serve a boatload of time. They would make all of these changes throughout the time that they served, and they would get an opportunity to make parole, and boom, they made parole. This is one of those cases that I said there were 7 controversial cases. This is guaranteed like the #1 case, I'm pretty sure, that they are talking about in relation to those controversial cases. And it poses this question, first of all, you know, does everybody deserve a second chance, no matter how heinous the crime may be? I don't personally think so. And I mean, I'm After Prison Show. Should I be of the mindset that everybody should be entitled to a second chance? Well, if I am, if I should be, I'm not. It's because of this focus on the parole board and the controversy surrounding it that has really tightened up this gubernatorial race here in my state. And, you know, so much in fact that they're saying that this is within the margin of error. You know, it's a toss-up is what they're calling it. And, you know, my thought on this is 2 things. You know, one, Glenn Youngkin can very easily win this election just off of the parole issue alone, because there's going to be a lot of people who feel like not everybody deserves a second chance, and they've let out some people who definitely don't and haven't and didn't deserve that second chance. That's the first thing. And then what if you're locked up right now, hoping and praying that you're going to be able to make parole? You've made all of these changes. You know, your case may not even be one of those cases where you might have had a robbery charge. And even though that's a bad charge, it ain't a murder charge, it ain't a bad charge. You know, what if you're one of these people who are sitting there locked up right now, hoping that you're going to be able to make parole, watching this election, watching these ads, they're all over the TV right now, because I think this election is in November. Seeing that what it seems to be the #1 thing that's being focused on right now is the criminal justice reform, especially, i.e. all eyes on parole. And it's not even that big of an if, because it could easily happen, Glenn Youngkin wins this election, what's going to happen to parole? Is it going to go away? Are they just going to tighten up the reins and say, hey, look, if you got X, Y, and Z charges, you ain't got to worry about getting out? It definitely is a little bit to take notice of and to pay attention to. Like I said, I'm not here to put my political views on anybody, and I wouldn't expect you to do that to me. And, you know, whatever your views are, you're entitled to your views, and I'm entitled to mine. But if Glenn Youngkin wins this election, you know, will he abolish parole? Will we go back to the death penalty, which I think we've taken a hiatus from? We've done away with the death penalty. Matter of fact, I did a video about that. Yeah, we no longer have the death penalty. Will criminal justice reform toughen up? Like I said, it's definitely something to think about. I'm not going to make this video super long. I know it's been a while since I've been here. I promise you guys I'm going to be back as often as I can. I'm almost done with flip number 3. And again, if you'd like to see anything else that I'm doing outside of the prison YouTube genre, you know, check out the other YouTube channel, Joe Does Stuff. I share a lot more over there. With that, I'll look forward to hearing what you guys have to say about all of this, and especially what your thoughts in particular are, not political wise, but in relation to parole and, you know, criminal justice reform. Should everybody get a second chance? You know, Virginia is a state that doesn't really do parole. You've got old law, new law, you know, since 1995, I believe is when new law took effect. You know, parole has gone away. And only this applies to anybody who was locked up prior to 1995, which is another crazy thing to think about. How are all these people who were sentenced under old law the only ones who are eligible for parole? Because you got people like Google who got sentenced in 2009 to 209 or 10 or 8 years. And he didn't even kill anybody. He just took his case to trial. He had a robbery and a home invasion and an abduction, and he got smoked. But because of the fact that he was sentenced after 1995 in 2009, I believe, or maybe 10, he'll never get a chance at parole. I'm not saying that he deserves it. I'm just using him as a perfect example because there's dudes who have been sentenced prior to 95 who are eligible for parole because they fall under old law. But if Glenn Youngkin wins, then probably that's going to go away. That is the number one thing that they're focusing on, it seems like, in this electoral race. I mean, this gubernatorial race. How is it so much, in fact, and I mean this with everything that I'm about to say, different strokes for different folks? I'll leave you with that, and I'll look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Hey, I promise, I won't be as long between videos this time. I'm going to try to get back on track. It's 6:30 in the morning as I'm filming this right now. As soon as I get done filming this, I'm going to go edit this, and then I'm going to work on the flip. I'm trying to multitask, folks. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you still continuing to check this video out if you've done so, and I look forward to getting back on track here. I miss you guys. I want to get back to doing videos, and I felt like this was a perfect start because this is important right here. No matter how you feel, one way or another, something big is getting ready to happen, and especially in relation to criminal justice reform here in my state. Have a great one, and until next time, enjoy life, the free world. Never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!